friends, it's Rana and welcome back to another quick review video. Today we'll be reviewing 1000 Splendid Suns by Khaled Hosseini. 1000 Splendid Suns is Khaled Hosseini's second historical fiction book after The Kite Runner. It was published in 2007 and it is like around 415 pages. As like all of his books, it is set in Afghanistan, and this one starts in the 1960s and ends like in the early 2000s. It starts following Maryam. She's a little girl living with her poor, mentally unstable mother, and they were abandoned by her father. She was the result of birth out of the wedlock. Every now and then her father visits her, brings her some toys, and spends like a day or less with her. Then he goes back to his second family in the city. And after a series of unfortunate events, ending up with a very tragic one, she is getting married off to a very horrible man who is way older than her, called Rashid, and she starts her miserable life with him. Then fast forward to like 15 years later, we follow another girl called Layla. She lives a simple, happy life with her family, but during a period of political unrest, another tragedy happens, and the lives of Layla and Maryam end up crossing paths, and they strike up one of the most beautiful and purest friendships I ever read in literature. At one point, they end up living in the same household under the same roof, and they become inseparable. They take care of each other and they care too much about one another. Maryam becomes like a mother figure to Layla, and Layla becomes like a daughter figure to Maryam, even though they don't have that big of an age gap. This book is hands down my favorite novel by Khaled Hosseini, and probably one of my all-time favorite books ever. Khaled Hosseini is a master storyteller. He always gives us a masterpiece after a masterpiece. He has a gorgeous writing style, and he always manages to get us emotionally attached to his very well-fleshed characters, and they are always very realistic. You feel like you are reading the stories of a real life people. Yes, this book is very tragic and full of melancholy, but it is also very empowering and gives us a small hope at the end of the book. You know this feeling when you start a book and from the first one or two chapters, you sense that this book between your hands will be one of the best books ever. I got this feeling reading this book when I first read it 4 years ago in Arabic. From the first, I believe, chapter or two, I knew this book gonna wreck me and it will be one of my all-time favorite books, and it didn't disappoint. And I reread it this year, like last month, and it is still one of the best historical fiction books I ever read. This book means so much to me, and all my reader friends know how much I love this book because I recommend it to anyone and everyone who asks for a book recommendation, because that's how good it is. Also, I really want to mention that my favorite romance or my favorite couple in literature is in this very sad book. I truly and dearly love these two people together. I'm 100% sure that this novel is the first novel to ever make me cry, twice at that, and broke my heart throughout reading it. Like, it is truly one of the most unique reading experience I ever had. So if you are in the mood for a read that will make you cry and stick with you to that last day of your life, read this book. I'm not saying that every sad book that make you cry is a good book, but when a book manages to evoke so many emotions from you and you get confused and scared and want the best for the characters, then know that the author did something right when he wrote this book. All of Khaled Hosseini's books are great books, but this is my favorite one. It is not my first experience with his stories. I first watched the Kite Runner movie, and I also experienced similar emotions when watching the movie, but this book was a totally different story for me. His third novel wasn't that good, but still it is considered pretty good in the historical fiction genre, but compared to these two masterpieces, It was alright, but I'm still waiting after all these years for a fourth novel by him. Like, what are you doing? Yeah, I know you are a doctor in real life, but can you please publish a fourth novel for us thirsty readers? We can't live our lives with mediocre books when we know that you can write us another masterpiece. So that's it for today's very quick review. I know I sound a little bit different. It is because of my allergy, but I hope you enjoyed this video either way. Please subscribe to see my future videos, and I will see you next time. Bye!